Tuesday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. How's everybody doing today? My name is Caroline. Welcome back, Daily Crafty Chat. And I really want to put a few stitches into my sock. So I'm just going to do that while I start off today's little visit. Luna is, as always, beside me on her bed. And Nicholas is just finishing up his lunch. He'll be going back to his class soon. He is still doing virtual school, in case you were wondering. It's going quite well, actually, all things considered, in this crazy topsy-turvy upside down time. He has made some new friends, and his teacher's great. He seems to be adjusting. He seems to have adjusted quite well, so that's been good. I'll put in a clip of the pumpkins at the beginning of this episode. I've had a couple of people ask who carved the pumpkins. I may have told a little story last Friday, the day before Halloween, that I am not a fan of carving pumpkins. In fact, I hate carving pumpkins, and every year I manage to avoid that task because my husband rather enjoys it. John loves carving the pumpkins with the kids, but this year he wasn't going to be home in time because we had some problems. Well, he had with some burst pipes up at the cottage. Not burst pipes, but frozen pipes. Anyways, the pipes were fine, and so the end of the pumpkin story is that Saturday morning I knew that he was on his way home and that he would be home by 4:30 that afternoon. So I left the pumpkins for him to carve. With Nicholas, we hung the lights, we did everything else for Halloween, but I did leave the pumpkin carving for John, and he didn't mind one bit, and he was happy to have that activity to do with the kids when he got home. So, I mean, kids, Sarah's gonna be 20 in May, so there, and you know, Nicholas is 12 going on. Well, actually, he's not, he's a bit young for his age, so he's very 12, but he'll be 13 next April. But they do still like doing that with their dad, so that was nice. I didn't have to do that, so I did not have to carve the pumpkins. I got away with it this year, which was really nice. So yeah, I'm working on my sock. This is the first time I've picked it up since yesterday. It's my Fruity Pebbles sock. I'm almost at the toe. So close to the toe. I'm getting there. Okay, so I've put in about half of a row. So there, I can at least say today that I've done something on my sock. That is yarn by Leo and Roxy. These things that I show and share every day, I try to remember to put all of the pertinent details in the drop-down box below, because for those who come and visit me every day, I think it must get a bit boring to hear me say the same things over and over again every day. But we also always have lots of new people coming to visit, and you don't hear me say the same thing every day. So if you're wondering about anything, I usually try to put the info in the drop-down box below, and if for some reason I've forgotten or it's not there, just leave me a question in the comments and I will do my very best to answer. My mom, hi Mom. My mom has started, my mom has read the comments, and she's watched my videos now for quite a while. And my mom left, my mom rather enjoyed a comment that someone had left yesterday, and I'm sorry I don't remember your first name, but you left a story about your cat dragging in a special surprise to your house that perhaps you weren't expecting that particular surprise. And my mother thought your story was hilarious, and so she left you a comment on your comment, and I thought that was really funny. So I called her this morning and we had a good chat. So I said that I was joking around, and I was saying that I should make my mother my my social media coordinator. So I think my mom would do a good job on that. So in case you see my mom around the comments section, you'll see her name pop up as Patrick McNeil. That's my father's name. And my mom's name is Joan. So if she signs her name Caroline's mom, that's who you're talking to. Her name is Joan. And I think she gets a big kick out of your comments as well. So thank you. I did work on I put one length of floss into my mitten. So just for honesty's sake, show you what I did. That little bit of sky there. I had to see how the teal was going to play in those colors. It's kind of at that stage where you're kind of like, is it going to look okay? I don't know. But I think once those bands are once the red is finished and the blue is filled in, I think I'm going to love it. I think I'll love it overall as the whole. But when you're first doing it, you're thinking, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. We're all sort of filled with those little bits of self-doubt, aren't we? But I don't know. I think it's because this red is so bright and it's kind of smacking me in the face when, you know, because it's not done all the way across and this fill-in isn't done. And I think it's the red that's, you know, it catches your eye and just focuses all of your attention right there. So I need to do a lot more of the fill-in, and then I think that it will make a lot more sense. Anyways, so that's my mitten project. And once again, it's 1/1 on a 28 count mystery linen from my stash. Okay, before I share with you my plans for this evening, I had a really funny little conversation with a viewer and a lady who had purchased a few bags from the shop, and they arrived today, and she sent me a really lovely email. And so we had a little email conversation, and she had a question in her original email to me which made me laugh, because I was wondering when somebody was going to say something about this or ask. I was wondering when somebody was going to ask about this. If you purchased an Evertote Holiday Collection this year, and for those of you who haven't received yours yet, because I am still working on them, I'm still sewing. In fact, tonight I've decided to take the night off because, well, I'm going to be sitting watching television with some stitching, and I'll tell you about my stitching that I have planned for this evening in just a moment. But I'm still working hard on sending out these kits. So if you have a kit that's coming, you'll now know what it is that I'm about to share with you. So if you have already received your kit and you're wondering what the heck this was, on the outside of your package, I will have put a little card-shaped tag, kind of strange little thing. And I punched a hole in it and I used it as a tag, and I put the ribbon through it, and I used this as a holder for the zipper pull, the progress keeper. And if yours didn't look like this, maybe it looked like this. Maybe it looked like this. Maybe it looked like this. And Carol was really funny. She said, I feel like I should know what it is. Is it a province, or is it something in particular? It's not. It's not a province. And in fact, you're really going to laugh when you find out what it is. Okay. So, it's nothing. It's nothing, except it is my own desire to avoid waste, because I hate waste. And I think they're cute. So, in your package, you also will have received a snowflake, because I love punching out fun shapes. And I think it makes a sweet little addition to a holiday package. So I had some really pretty Christmas cardstock, and I have a snowflake punch, and so I punched out the snowflakes from the holiday paper. And what that does is it leaves you with all kinds of leftover. You see where I'm going with this? Well, I hate waste. I hate waste. And look at that. Those are perfectly usable little nice pieces of pretty sparkly paper. And so I just take them apart and punch a little hole in it, and then I can use it as a little tag on the front of the package. And that's all that is. I wish it was a province, because that would have been much more clever if I could punch out like the punch out. That sounds funny. Never mind. I don't want to punch out Ontario, but you know what I mean. If you could use a punch to punch out of cardstock the shape of Ontario and make that as a tag, that would be quite clever. However, it is not. It's just a fun shape that makes use of some leftover pretty cardstock that I had, and that's all it is. And I thought that was really quite neat that you thought it was possibly something much more meaningful, and it really isn't. Oh, that's so fun. Anyways, so tonight, stitching plans. Stitching plans. I have been saving, and you'll already know what it is that I'm going to show you, because I'm using it as the screen cap on my video today, because I am just so excited about this. I've been saving this for exactly this type of reason. When I need something that is beautiful, that is easy, that I just am so excited about, but that I don't have to think about, that I can't wait to work on it, but I can just be mindless about it while I'm doing it. So it's time for me to go back to my Historische Stickmuster, the colors of Venice. And so that is the German for the colors of Venice. And this pattern is by Dorothy. Now, Dorothy, forgive me, Kanzi. And I know Dorothy watches now. I think she has coffee with me in the morning. So, hi Dorothy. I hope you're well. And Dorothy and her son developed the app Silk Stitching. And most of you have heard about it by now, because the internet is a Twitter with the Silk Stitching app. Especially if you follow Shiloh, X-Stitch MD. She just started the that really beautiful Christmas chart a couple of days ago as a stitch along. And the Silk Stitching app, at the moment, it's only for iOS. I do believe that there are plans in the works to develop it for Android, but at the moment it is only iOS. And so the Silk Stitching app, they're not PDFs. So you download the app, and then within the app there are a couple of free patterns put out by Dorothy and a few other designers. And there's also a store within the app. I've done a video on this. It's not new information for many of you. But what is new about the app is that they've just recently updated it, and they have added the feature where you can highlight your completed stitches. You can color highlight your completed work, and it will give you a percentage completed. So I have yet to check it out myself, because my pattern that I am currently working from them is a hard copy, and tonight I'm just doing fill-in work, so I haven't tried out the new technology. I haven't tried it out yet. But one other little exciting piece of tidbit of information about the Silk Stitching app. I mentioned last week that they were going to be having a new designer joining the app. Well, have you heard who it is yet? It's Jakob de Graaf, Modern Folk Embroidery. So Jakob he now has a pattern on the Silk Stitching app, and I do believe if there's only one chart there now, or in the last couple of days, there are more coming. There are apparently quite a few more coming from Jakob. So very, very exciting, and I can't wait to dig into that further. But as many of you know, at the moment, I am head down focused on my sewing and getting those orders out the door. So those kinds of fun things for me, where I really get distracted and squirreled, shiny nickeled into these, distracting things, I have to kind of avoid them at the moment, because it's very easy for me to lose an entire afternoon on something like that because I just can't help it. They're so fun and just so beautiful. And I already know Jakob's work. It's beautiful. If you haven't checked out his own website, www.modernfolkembroidery.com, you're going to want to be keeping an eye on what he has coming up this month. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, more to come. So, let me show you where I'm at and then what I have planned for tonight. I can't wait. I cannot wait. Whoa. Look at this. Look at that. It is so, so beautiful. I was fortunate enough that Dorothy actually sent me, Dorothy and Uta from Germany. The shop is in Hamm, I believe, at Dorothy's home. I'm not sure at the moment. Things might be just online. I'm not sure if their shop is open. Dorothy, you're watching this. Could you leave me a comment in the box below? I know their online shop is running. They are sending out orders all the time. In fact, I've had several people who are in North America who have ordered from them and received their orders in great time, considering all of the sort of postal delays recently. Now, I know Christmas is coming, and so lots of postal delays are probably in our future. However, I'm speaking to the last couple of months and the sort of history up until then. So, but I do know that you can get this chart through the Silk Stitching app. It is available in the store that's within the app. It's so beautiful. I mean, this is just the colors, the design, everything about this is just, it's me. It's so me. I love this so much. So much. So, there. That's what I'm finishing tonight. Well, finishing might be presumptuous. I'm not sure I'm going to completely finish the fill-in. However, I'm certainly going to give it a try. So, like I said, Dorothy sent me the supplies. So this is a 40 count white linen. It's all of the called for silk flosses. These are Auvera Soie. They are absolutely stunning. This is the dark blue. This is the dark navy that's part of the pattern in the chart. And look at that color. I mean, it's absolutely stunning, that color. Is it focused? Having a hard time seeing today. I think it's focused. Look at that color. Oh, it's just rich, vibrant, and beautiful. So these are three of the, actually these are, let's put them together so you can see. These are three of the colors that oh no, I'm lying. This color I've used. This one I'm using it in the block I'm using right now, but look at those colors together. Just beautiful. Beautiful. I love those colors so much. So this has been a joy, and it's been so long since I haven't worked on it since the summer, and can't wait to get back to it. A little bit of detail on the frame that I'm using. I know this one looks a little bit different than what I normally show. This is a Kay's Creation lap frame. This one in particular, I was able to score at an estate sale of a friend of mine who was downsizing, and for $10 I got this entire frame. So lucky me. Now, not the rods. The rods were mine from before, but the basic frame, and it came with, these are, I believe they're also made by Kay's Creations, and I think they're just called extender bars, or extension. I don't know what they're called, but if you see them on their website, you'll know what I'm talking about. Basically, when you turn the crank, it raises your rods up just a little bit more, so the tension rods, they must be just called like a tension rod, because they can tighten the tension on your fabric just a little bit more. The rods that I'm using, these are called handy clamps, and they are the type of rod that has a clamp. It's as simple as that. It's just a clamp that goes on the rod. I'm going to be honest with you, they're not my favorite. I use them because they're convenient, because you can swap out projects easily, and I don't usually ever stick to just one project at a time. So it means that I can have multiple projects going at once using the same rods. But the reason they're not my favorite is because they do tend to leave a bit of a mark on the fabric if you don't loosen your fabric every time after you're done stitching. However, and I did know this, but I was reminded of it the last time I complained about this, use some quilt batting. And yes, you're right. And usually I'm just in too much of a hurry. But this time I made the effort to go and get my batting. I cut some strips, and I cut them, you know, I made sure that they were about this long so that my excess fabric, as I was rolling it up, there's a layer of bat under each roll. So it's helping protect that fabric just a little bit more from the, can you see it? There's a little lip here on the clamp, and that's what causes the little bit of a crease when you really tighten your fabric a lot. So anyways, that's where I'm at tonight. That's what I'm going to be doing while I'm watching television. So that's the plan. And that's it. Other than that, I have some more sewing to do today, and I have a my student, my flute student. I will be teaching him at 3:30. I know this is maybe not interesting to most of you, but it's interesting to me because I just read an email. It's interesting to me, so I'm going to tell you anyway. I'm just taking you along for the ride. He has been registered to do a Royal Conservatory music exam, and of course he was registered to do it in the spring when, of course, everything was shut down, and he couldn't do his exam. As you can imagine, he plays a wind instrument, and when they are preparing for conservatory exams, they are required at a certain level to provide a pianist. The term has changed now. It used to be called, we used to call them accompanists, now we call them collaborators. So a pianist collaborator, you are expected to show up with one and you know, and play together, because that's how the music is written, and you're supposed to be, you know, performing it for your exam. Well, you can't get together to rehearse. You can't, you can't, you know, be in a small room with an examiner, so the exams didn't happen. So the conservatory sent out, you were able to postpone your exam for a year. Well, I just got, his mother just sent me an email that she received, and in fact, I believe, I'm not sure for the other instruments, but at least for our flute exam, it has been postponed. It has been, you have the option to use the money from the exam. It doesn't expire for 2 years. So if he decides to take the exam, he can use the money, the credit from not doing his exam this past June until June 2022, which actually, frankly, is a little bit of a relief, because it means that, you know, I won't have a child who's anxious about the fact that I can't get together with my accompanist, and how am I going to rehearse, and what am I going to do, and we can sort of allay those concerns and just continue on with our virtual lessons, and you know, progressing as best as we can together. It's very difficult. And what I do is a fraction of what I can imagine that all of our teachers in the school system are dealing with at the moment. It gives me just a little hint of appreciation for what they go through, because trying to convey expression and phrasing and musicality and tone and posture and everything that I would normally do in a physical one-on-one. I've taught music lessons for years, piano and flute and theory, and not being able to physically touch the hands or, you know, put your hand in a certain spot on the back so that the alignment of the spine and the hips and the shoulders, and you know, even just simple things like fingers slightly hanging over the keys or the position of the thumb. All of these things, I can't do any of that, and I have to, you know, look at this tiny little screen with terrible sound quality, you know. It's really hard. It's really very challenging. And so, and I only have one. I can't imagine. I used to have a huge, you know, huge for one person, studio of piano kids and flute kids. And if I'd had to move all of that online, many hats, and they're all off to any music teacher at the moment currently doing virtual lessons, because I just have one, and it is it's quite something. Nicholas is doing his bassoon lessons still remotely as well, and his teacher is doing a wonderful job. So it's possible, but boy, oh boy, what a learning curve. What a learning curve. Anyways, I hope this was a nice little chatty visit with you today. It certainly was a nice chatty visit for me today. It was nice to take a bit of a break, have a bit of a visit, and I think I better wake up you-know-who and take her OUT before I get back to work and before I get stuck in. So I'm going to put my things away so that I don't get distracted for the rest of the afternoon. I'm saving these until this evening. And I'm looking forward to getting back to my stitching tonight. So that's it for me today. I wish you well. I wish you all so well. Happy stitching, everybody. Have a night. Have a great night. And I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Happy stitching.